Hi, I'm Miss Earwood. I'm going to show you guys how to get to the on-level American Lit summer reading assignment. So the first thing that you are going to want to do is start by going to the Lassiter homepage, which is at lassiterhigh.org. In the center, you will see a bunch of links. There's the summer information one. That's the one you need to click on. Then you need to, again, click on the summer information link. And then these are all of your summer assignments. Make sure that you are looking for all of your assignments that you might have, not just, obviously, not just in English. Like there's STEM Academy one, social studies, world languages, science, and then we have English in the middle. We are the 11th grade on-level American Literature summer reading. To click on it, the assignment will pop up. You can make it a little bit bigger. We are going to be reading How to Read Literature Like a Professor by Thomas C. Foster. There are multiple additions to this text. You can either purchase the one that's pictured here or like I have this red one. So whichever one you get is fine. So don't stress out about the addition. The next thing you need to look at is which chapters you're responsible for. So you're not going to be reading this entire book, okay? You're only responsible for the ones that correspond with the letter of your last name. So for me, my last name is Earwood, so I would read chapters 2 through 6. If your last name's F through J, 7 through 11, so on and so forth until we get down to chapter 26. Okay, so for every chapter, you will be responsible for completing this graphic organizer. And you can print it off by clicking on this top right link up here. It looks like a printer, or you can download it to your computer here. Whatever, however you want to do it, doesn't really, it's not that big of a deal. So for every single chapter, so if I'm Miss Earwood assigned chapters 2 through 6, that means for chapters 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I am filling out this graphic organizer. Okay, so I have a sample one that I'm going to show you that I've completed for the chapter Nice to Eat You, Acts of Vampires. So in the center circle, you're going to be drawing a picture and creating the chapter, or not creating the chapter title, just listing it. I'm not an artist, and I imagine many of you are not artists. So if you're going to draw a stick figure, that's fine, but it needs to be a detailed stick figure, okay? So, like, I have little vampire teeth. He's got a hat on. Great. He has his lifeless victim next to him that he's grabbing. That's fine, okay? So we're not grading you on your artistic ability, I promise. Okay. On the top, it has a chapter summary. I said ghosts and vampire stories are never only about ghosts and vampires. Thematically, all that's required is a person who's being exploited by another entity. It can be a social commentary. Oftentimes, it is a social commentary. On the very bottom, it's upside down, the chapter thesis. And remember, you guys, a thesis is the thing that the argument or the thing that the chapter is arguing. Like it is the argument, okay? The main idea, I don't really want to use the word main idea, but it is the main thing that the chapter is trying to get you to get out of it. And mine, first off, I put a quote that was kind of like my evidence, so your thesis is not simply going to be a quote. So let me make that very, very, very clear. My chapter thesis is a vampire doesn't have to be in a story for the theme of a text to deal with exploitation. So just make sure that you're just covering this basic sort of main idea of the text under this chapter thesis in like one sentence. On the sides, you have examples that reflect the chapter's main ideas. And I have literal vampires and ghosts. The examples in the books are Turn the Screw, Twilight, and Dracula. And then metaphorical vampires and ghosts. And the main example that the author uses in the text is Daisy Miller. So that's really the only one I include. Not really, it is the only one that I included. Because he goes on about it for a couple of pages. On the other side of questions inspired by the chapter. And so my questions were, what is Twilight really about then? What does Edward symbolize to Bella? And what are some other metaphorical vampire stories in American literature? And as you can see, it does not say answer these questions, okay? So you don't have to answer the questions. All I need to see are your questions that indicate that you have thought about this chapter and made some sort of out of text connection with it. So that's really it. So you'll have to do that again for each chapter that you're assigned, depending on your last name. And make sure that you have this completed when you come in for a class on the first day of school, because you will be split into groups based on your last names, and you as a group will be responsible for teaching the class your chapters, okay? So it is important that you do have a working knowledge of the chapters that you're responsible for, okay? Wonderful. Oh, and if you do have any questions, you can email me at alora.earwood@cobk12.org. I usually respond within 24 hours, but it is the summer, so please just a little bit of patience on my response times. Okay, thank you.